Well, this morning, guess what? We have a topic called Free to Change. This month, we are basing our talks on the book, Choosing to Love. And Free to Change is one of the chapters in this book. So I wanted to talk about love for just a moment here. All of us are familiar with what love is. Many of us have heard that love and fear cannot coexist. For if there is love, fear is not in the equation. And if there is fear, love has gone dormant. In the beginning of the Course in Miracles, it says, perfect love casts out fear. If fear exists, then there is not perfect love, but only perfect love exists. If there is fear, it produces a state that does not exist. That's the wording of the Course in Miracles. It takes you a minute or two sometimes to absorb what it's telling you. But what we experience in our humanness many times is the fact that we do feel the emotions of fear. And we can think and feel fearful. But is that the truth? Is that reality? No, but I'll tell you what, we sure have that experience. It bubbles up with us most of the time, unconsciously, unintentionally, that's for sure. Many of us have heard that acronym, what fear is: false evidence appearing real. And there are other ones as well. Forget everything and run. Face everything and rise. Failure expected and received. Ooh. Finding excuses and reasons. Frantic effort to avoid reality. Reality. That reality is with a big R. Frantic effort to avoid reality. When we sink into reality, what is reality? Love is all there is. That's the only thing. And when we can sink into that, fear is dissolved. There is no such thing as fear. And the bottom line is that when we have our hearts and our minds open to just accepting that this love is right here for me right now, no matter the appearance, no matter what it looks like. Hey, isn't that easy? It's peasy, easy peasy, right? You realize that whenever we go into fear, whenever we go into fright, whenever we go into worry, whenever we go into doubt, what is happening is that we are becoming unmindful of the truth of what we are, our connection with Source. We have separated ourselves. And when we feel separated, when we feel isolated, there is nothing more fearful to us. But the truth is that we can never be separated from this love. Only in our minds, only in our thoughts, only in our confusion can we be separated. I know I'm not the only one. I don't normally watch the news, but I do have the little bylines going through on my computer on my home screen. And I know what goes on, in this world. Besides royal weddings. We've had another school shooting this last week. And we are seeing more and more and more of that in our society. And it's discerning. It's confusing, and it's you wonder why, what's going on? And of course, everybody leaps in trying to fix it. Well, we've got to do this or we've got to do that. And to me, I almost wonder if the values that we grew up on and our forefathers grew up on have changed. The values of this society, speaking of royal weddings, we are so much into materialism, so much into stuff, that we've forgotten what our essence is. And all those young folks going to schools, acting out, using violence, are a cry for love, right? They're crying. They're wishing, they're hoping that they weren't isolated, that they aren't separate. If we could teach them, if we could reach them, and let them know their truth. We all have homework. To let those folks that have forgotten, maybe they never even knew how much love. Let that love show up for them this week. Because we know in our teaching that we are one and that we have an impact. We have a power that we can share. But we need to be grounded in ourselves first. We need to know our truth first so that we can let that emanate and flow out through us, because we know as within, so without. I was reading this book that we were focusing on this month. It was written by Eileen Cady, and I was reading one of her daily messages that is called As Within. And it said, "Never fail to give thanks for every lesson you learn, no matter how difficult it may be. Realize that only the very best is bound to come out of it." Do you know what that reminds me of? It was, what's her name? Well, she was a New Thought minister several years ago, and she said, "This too is God, this too is good, and I demand to see the good in it now." You all know who I'm talking about. No, it wasn't Terry. Oh, way before Terry Cole Whitaker. No, before Edwin Gaines. Who? Ponder? No, before Ponder. Sounds like it'll come to me. Emma Curtis Hopkins. See, the teacher here knows. Thank you. So it just reminds me of that. Never fail to give thanks for every lesson you learn, no matter how difficult it may be. Realize that only the very best is bound to come out of it, and that every difficulty is but a stepping stone along the way. There are important lessons which have to be learned, and the sooner you learn them, the better. Never try to shirk from them. Shirk. Never try to shirk from them or get around them, but see them for what they are and face them fairly and squarely. Never be like a gramophone needle that is stuck in a groove, repeating the same old mistakes over and over again. Boy, that dated herself, a gramophone needle. When you want to change, you can do it. When you want to be different and live a victorious life, you simply have to make up your mind that you are going to do it, and you will do it. Why not start right now seeing the very best in life and enjoy life as it should be enjoyed? So that brings us to our topic this morning, which is free to change. The only way, though, that we are free to change is if we are aware of what we're doing. Because if we are doing something habitually, day in and day out, just in rote, not ever even recognizing, we don't have a chance to change. We aren't even aware that we need to change. We are holding a brand new prosperity class this coming June. Over the last 3 years, we've provided a prosperity training during the summer. This year we have a new one that I'm very excited about, and I want you to start considering being available to participate in it. It's called Living as the Flow, Mastering Prosperity Principles. Now, again, I've said we've been allowing ourselves to be available for these prosperity teachings for the last 3 summers now for various folks. This one is by Michelle Whittington. That's the minister in Phoenix right now. It has been for several years, actually. And I'm testing the water. I want you to touch your toe in the water right now. And there's a flyer over here on the side that tells you about it. I'd like you to think about committing yourself to participating in this prosperity program this coming summer. And knowing that it's going to give you some new angles on prosperity. I don't know about you. I've done all of these programs. Is my flow of living in the flow and prosperity satisfied with my level? No. I want more prosperity. Prosperity is what? In your health, in your relationships, in your finances, in your creative endeavors. It's all of those areas. So I'm just putting in a plug here now because, why? Because it fits into our topic today, which is free to change. And when you go into any new prosperity class, be willing and have the intention of changing. That's what it's about. It's also about knowing that we are living full out, complete and whole and perfect in the kingdom now. When we are at one with that one presence, there's no fear, and there's this ability to step forward into the unknown. One of the exercises in this book that talks about free to be change, and of course, in order to change, you have to be aware. I thought it was kind of an interesting exercise. They said at the end of the day, right before you retire, you can choose 2 minutes to maybe 30 minutes and give yourself the opportunity to review your day, to look back and start with the latest thing, go in reverse. What was the last thing that I did? And then work your way back up to the morning. And acknowledge the conversations that you had with people, the face-to-face or written, texting. The book didn't say anything about texting, that was me. Things that you said, things that you didn't say. And the important part about this process and this exercise is to do it from a witness basis, from an observation basis, not from a judgmental basis, not that I did it right or I did it wrong, but just to observe and be aware and acknowledge this is how my day went. Now I'm throwing in the other element that I believe would be helpful as you're going through that process is to be grateful. Be thankful. Say, wow, yes, that was a great conversation I had. Or even if it was something that I could have said, one of those, man, I should have said whatever. Know that that was perfect for that moment right then, and that I can learn from it next time. So add that bit of gratefulness into it, that appreciativeness into it. Right now, we are always at choice. We are always free. That's our innate nature. That's what we are. But we have these things in life that become habits. And we become kind of dull. So every day, I want you to change it up. When you get up in the morning, what do you say? Anything good? What's up for today? Amazingly awesome things are happening for me today. That is absolutely right. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, that I'm opening my eyes and that I had a restful night's sleep and I had that crazy dream. Okay, fine. You write it down. That's right. And you learn from it. There's a message in there somewhere, isn't there? Right? Yeah. I just love the way the Daily Word, how many of you read the Daily Word? How many? Okay, so the Daily Word, I love the Daily Word because it just fits so much into my talk today. I have to share it. That's all there is to it. The actual word is called divine expression. And the top of it says, "In truth, I cannot fail. My divine nature, the truth of who I am, is not simply a presence within me. It is the very essence of every cell in my body, every thought in my mind. A sense of failure in any undertaking is a fear-based thought in my mortal mind. It has no reality in spiritual truth, capital T. Whatever the appearance may be, there is always a lesson, a spiritual awareness that will support and encourage me as I make future choices. As long as I remember to claim the good in every choice I make, there can be no failure in my life experience. Today, I welcome every opportunity to make a creative choice that perfectly expresses my true spiritual self." Wow. How did they know I was talking about this today? That's just amazing. So, yeah, life it's just perfect, right? It is. One of the things in the book that came up that kind of hit me, you know, how things hit you, talks about will. When we talk about will, there's this idea of making it happen. My will, I'm going to will it to be. And in fact, I was going to share with you the list that they have, pure forms and distortions of will. Pure form of will is assertiveness, innovation. A distorted part of will is aggression and violence. The pure form, concentration and focus. Ambivalence and indecision. The will that we have can be what drives our life, what moves us into action. You know, we can think about all of this stuff that we're supposed to do, that we could do, that's available to us, but until we actually move into action and do something, it's just ethereal. It has nothing, no impact, no effect on the course of our lives. And like, you know, I said in the meditation, we are both divine and human. We're here on this human experience for a reason, to do something. And I'll tell you, I don't know how many times I have looked at myself and known that I have some challenges with decision. It's so much easier to just let things be as they are, not, disturb the waters. Everything's cool. Because I'm one of those people, not unlike some of you in this room, I'm not too much of a risk taker. Risk takers dive right in, and they follow that instinct to do what needs to be done. I'm more of those ones that calculate. I need to have the pros and the cons. But I think the vast majority of us, if we are centered in ourself, in our true self, we're going to be listening for the signals of that still small voice and be willing to step forward when it speaks to us. Be willing that when that gut and that intuition from our heart tells us to do something, that we are okay in doing it. I'm going to confess, I think I shared with you a while ago that it's spring. Well, spring is, moving right along here. And I had the intention of cleaning out my closet. How long has that been on my to-do list? When did I talk about that, right? Have I done it yet? No. I've sure thought about it a lot. I even brought it up to my coach when I was on the phone with Martha Creek. I need to clean my closets out. So she's helping me, coaching me. Well, this is what you do. You can go online and you look at this YouTube thing, and this person will give you advice, da-da-da-da. And so what you do is you take everything out of your closet and put it on your bed. And I'm sitting there thinking, well, number one, she doesn't realize that I just have a single bed. And if I took everything out of my closet and put it on my bed, I'd need a ladder to get up to the top to start unloading it. And so you hear me what this is, right? These are a whole bunch of excuses, right? Just to leave it the way it is. And you know what an excuse is? My mother-in-law, who founded this church, an excuse is a skin of a reason stuffed with a lie. And we're all good at them. At least I am. So today, I am vowing, I'm making this a public statement. When I go home this afternoon, I'm going to take those clothes out of that closet. I think I'm just going to start with half, though. I'm sorry. I don't want to get up on a ladder. I can listen to the Padres. I can do all sorts of stuff listening to the Padres. So you see, the bottom line is that we can determine and we can will and we can decide all these decisions, but unless we actually do it, it's just pie in the sky. So I'm asking you, I'm not the only one here, this wouldn't come up because we are all one, you know. What is it in your life that you've been talking about doing, you've been thinking about doing, that you said you want to do? Why not make it today? Do you know how much better you feel? How much better? You all remember those times when you finally said, well, gosh, it really wasn't that hard after all. If only I would have done it. I don't know how long ago. It would have been so much easier. Making decisions and then stepping forth and doing them. I've been doing those puzzles. How do you say that? Sudoku puzzles. And, they're the little numbers that you have to determine, which number goes in which square. And so I'm doing it calculating, so I say, well, this number could be there, or that number, or it could be that number, or it could be that square. And so I fill them all in. And some of the squares have 4 possible numbers that could be. And then some of them are okay, like right away. Oh, yeah, it's got to be that. That's got to be the one. Well, then I'm realizing that I finished the whole thing up, and I'm looking at this, and there's all these possibilities. And I'm thinking, hey, you just have to choose one and make a decision. It could be this or that. Well, then if it could be this or that, choose one. And if it doesn't end up being that, that's why you have an eraser. I was telling someone this story, and they said, you have to do it in pen. I go, oh my gosh, that just freaks me out. Each of us are going to do life the way that is comfortable for us. But I'm telling you that there are times when we want to step out of that comfort zone. When there are times that we know there is something grander, bigger in us, moving through us. Let it be. Let it move through us. Trust it. But the thing of it is, you have to get close to it. You have to take the time and be willing to listen to that instruction before you step forth into life. One of the other elements that I wanted to mention in this chapter that came up, and time again it comes up, is the need to forgive, to release, to let go. That as we go through every day, as we're going through that remembering of what happened in our day, to remember those things that we need to forgive. Not just appreciate, but to forgive, to let go, to know that. And of course, this is all about us. Forgiveness is all about me. Letting me be free of whatever happened in the past, of all the regrets. It was what it was. I'm not going to change it. I can learn from it. So let it go. There was a prayer in this book that I just thought was so beautiful, and I want to share it with you. It's a forgiveness prayer. It says, "Today I ask the divinity within to help me forgive completely. Here is my heart. Cleanse it. Renew my spirit so that I may be loving to everyone. I no longer want to hold anyone in judgment and condemnation. I let your love move in and through me, so I may willingly forgive and forget all offenses completely. I am grateful for your help. Thank you." What a beautiful prayer to be able to just say, yes, cleanse me, open me up, let me be free to really choose what this life is about. Infinite. We live in the kingdom. It's a great thing. It's a happy thing. It's a wonderful thing. Allow yourself to step out. Try new things. Let that dance of life come through you. I'd like you to pull out your program, and I want us to read that last statement again. That's in our thought for the week. As I go within, I accept that I am a divine wonder in expression. I do my very best to honor and bring my wonderful talents and joys to the dance of life today. I am ready to move forward with ease, grace, clarity, and am eternally grateful for this and so much more. And so it is. And so it is. Namaste.